Welcome to the KMC Collective podcast, where Tom, Ben, and Cole bring you practical insights, creative ideas, and authentic conversations for children's ministry leaders. Each conversation is packed with strategies to help you lead with clarity, build strong teams, nurture families, and stay healthy in the process. Whether you're planning lessons, training volunteers, or seeking encouragement for the week ahead, this podcast is for you. We hope to make you laugh, cry, think, and maybe a bit of all three in each of our weekly conversations. This is the KMC Collective Podcast. Let's jump into the conversation.
All right, and welcome to this week's KMC Collective Podcast. I'm Tom.
I'm Ben. What?
Hey, someone's in Cole's seat.
And she has long hair.
She does. Cole's got longer hair tonight. No, hey, believe it or not, my friends, it is the one and the only Vicki Abbott.
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
Welcome. I'm so glad to join you guys tonight.
Hey, we're glad to have you on the podcast on this week's conversation. And yeah, we'll miss Cole maybe a little bit. Oh, well, all right. Ben didn't even say anything. I'm like, uh-oh.
I do miss him.
Cole,
but I'm excited to get to hear from Vicki and just hear her knowledge. I've heard great things. So I'm excited to personally meet you via podcast for the first time, but also just to hear about, your wisdom and knowledge within children's ministry.
Yeah. So, Vicki, it's been a little while since you've been on the old version of the podcast. Right. Now that we're into season 2. So tell everybody where you're from and what church you're at.
Sure. So I serve at Ada Bible Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right. Woohoo.
So been there for 14 years. So
all right.
lots of amazing things happening.
So hold on, just for fun, how do you say your church's name again?
Ada Bible Church. So
I literally thought you said you ate a Bible church. And I'm like, that's not healthy.
Hey, you're supposed to eat the word. You're supposed to eat the word.
I mean, that is true. That is true about God's word. So, no, it's a D in there. A-D-A.
Yeah. Ada. Gotcha.
Ada. Yes.
Yeah.
The home of Amway.
Oh, that's right.
If anybody remembers what Amway is anymore, which I don't even know how much.
Probably not.
I don't think it's around very much, but it used to invade every church small group. I mean, that was the original church small group was Amway meetings.
Crazy. That's crazy. You
digress. Taking it way back.
I was going to say, I'm always getting teased for being the old guy in the conversation. So I figure I might as well carry the mantle and talk about something really, really old school, because all these young people are out there Googling what was Amway.
They have no clue what you're talking about.
It was a home soap company, essentially, but they sold everything else. And supposedly
my grandparents used it. Cleaning
Yeah.
products.
Yep.
That tells you how old that is, Tom.
Oh, man.
But we're not here to talk about
But we're not
products.
talking about soap, and we're not talking about multi-level marketing.
Something so much better.
We are talking about something so much better. This week, our conversation, actually, it comes from a listener's question, I will tell you. And it was the question about, how do I build community with other staff, and what about my volunteers too? How do I create community as a culture? So I wanted to have a conversation this week about how do we do that, especially as kids pastors, as family directors, children's ministry leaders. There's often a disconnect between the other staffs, and everybody knows the danger of silos. But sometimes it happens, and just in the positions, and there is this complex, unfortunately, that a lot of children's leaders have of well, I'm only the kids pastor, and I don't feel a part of the leadership team, and I understand, there's a lot of dynamics, because sometimes you're part-time, and so you're not as connected because you're not around the other staff and all that. So I just thought, gang, we would have a conversation about, what have you found to help you create that community with other leadership that you've been a part of. How do you develop that? What do you do? What have you seen work? What have you heard from other leaders that's worked? So let's dive in on the conversation and think about, let's start with the whole idea of how do we lead up and lead side to side. So with the other, the worship team and the youth team, and then you've got your executive, and and it may just be you and your senior pastor, but that's okay too. So how do we develop a healthy community? What can we do as kids ministry leaders to develop that? So Vicki, since you're new to the room, we're going to put you right into the hot seat. And
right.
What thoughts do you have about building community and culture?
So I have a couple thoughts that come to mind on this. And the first thing is when you said in children's ministry world, we have a tendency just to consider ourselves, we're just the children's person. And so without thinking, we are immediately taking ourselves out of the conversation. We are taking ourselves away from the table. We aren't even giving ourselves a seat at the table. So I think the first thing is we need to not do that to ourselves. No, we are the children's director, children's pastor, whatever they call that position at everybody's church. I mean, we're really important. And so to know that, first of all, we're not just. And then it's our responsibility.
I gotta walk away.
It's
she
so
just
good.
answered
It's
the
so
question
good,
with
right?
one sentence.
We are not just. Hashtag right there.
That's right. It needs to be a t-shirt. I want to start a t-shirt series. But it's one of those things too, it is our responsibility as much as it is somebody else's responsibility. And so I will hear, well, I'm not included, or they're not asking me, they're not saying hi to me when they walk down the hall. So we can turn that around. We can say hi to somebody. We can ask if we can be a part of the conversation. Now, there's a whole nother side of that might not happen. But what does it look like for the children's person to take initiative? And that is going to, right off the bat, help build community, help build that rapport that you need, right? Because before community needs relationship, and relationship needs two things. Relationship takes time, and it takes proximity.
Ooh,
yeah.
Mic drop moment too.
And I totally agree with you, because I've been in children's ministry for 20 plus years, and I'm going to admit I've been fired from churches because I could not build community. And it's because you get, as a children's director or children's pastor, you have this mindset going into whether it's a small church or a larger church. I got to do it all. I gotta teach the Bible. I also got to find the volunteers, but I also got to get the curriculum set up, and I got to make sure they're good over there in the nursery. And you get overwhelmed by all this stuff that you lose track of probably the most important part, and that is finding volunteers that have that passion and building a relationship with them so that they're with you. So now you're coming in 2, 5, 10 strong, and it's an army versus an army of one. And I love that, like, Kid Ministry Collective, the motto this year is "We are better together." And I learned that the super hard way, because I was that guy for years. I jumped in as a volunteer children's director. I went 10 plus years not getting paid to do children's ministry.
Wow.
And then finally a church gave me a shot as a part-time, and I'm jumping in, and like, finally I get a stipend for gas. I thought I made it. I thought I was like, it was prime time.
So Ben, what did you do? What did you do since you were a volunteer? Because there's a lot of listeners that are volunteer people. So what did you do to build relationships with your senior leaders so that you felt like you were connected to them?
So those are probably the churches that they let me go in. And you feel less than, because you're not on staff, whether it's a staff of, you got your pastor, your youth pastor, because that's, and your worship leader. When you start a church or you're a super small church, you just want to feel connected. And honestly, that word initiative that you said is huge, because there's an opportunity for you to sit down with your pastor, say, hey, I would love just
Mhm.
a meeting. I would love to tell you what's going on in the children's ministry. And you don't say, I want to talk about kids ministry. I want to see what it's going to take to grow. It's like, I just want to make sure that you understand my heart and my passion and how we're growing kids and discipling kids, so that you can champion it from the stage or with the families that you come in contact with. And he is your front, like you may think you're front line, but he is the front line, and he's the one that
Yeah.
has that relationship that you only hope you can have. And so getting him on your team, now you're coming in stronger. And then secondly is, if you are that person who feels like they got to be doing this and this, you are missing the mark.
Mhm.
Find somebody during the week and just get to know them. Like, be strategic, invite a family out for lunch after church, just get to know them. There's going to be time they may slip up and say, yeah, I was a coach for my son's soccer team, or I used to be a school teacher, or I love playing Legos with my kid. Like, that's our quality time together. We play ball at the park. And so you'll hear little things
Yeah.
that make little flags pop up and say, if they can do that with their kid, if they understand the depth of what they can do with other kids, is so much more eternal than playing
Yeah.
Legos or ball, and helping them get to that point. I think you're not coming in by yourself. You're coming in,
Yeah.
strong, because now you got your pastor, you got your other people who don't even know what they're up against, but they're going to fall in love because you believe in them. And that's
Yeah.
the first step, is believe in your volunteer, and that you
So
got a
Vic, yeah.
friend
So
for life.
Vicky, I'm curious, because Ben hit some good things there that kind of slid into our part two on volunteer stuff. I'm
Right.
just curious
Whoops.
with it's all good. It's all good. We're all going to get to that conversation. You just jumped ahead a little bit. It's fine. It was a good answer. It was a good answer. You had good stuff there. There's a couple things there that I think were great takeaways. I'm just curious for you, Vicky, being that you lead in a larger church, you're obviously, you've got probably less contact maybe with the senior pastor, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
so how do you get community going
Mhm.
with your direct report, your senior leadership? We'll put it that way, because I think people need to know, what can I do? Because some people are really feeling stuck in this, because we've seen it in the Facebook groups that people they feel very disconnected and alone from their senior leaders. They don't feel like their senior leaders get kids ministry. And I think what Ben was sharing is going to help move the pendulum and
It
get people
is.
starting to talk about kids
Mhm.
ministry, and that's going to float up. So there's huge value in what he was just sharing. But I want to pinpoint so that
Mhm.
a listener walks away with a couple things after listening to this, that they could start intentionally doing, that would help get that pipeline going.
No, that's a really good question. And whether you're at a large church where there's like 5 layers or 3 layers, or you're at a very small church, I think there's a couple things that children's people, um, it would be very helpful to do with your senior leadership, wherever your voice is. And sometimes your voice might not be a one-on-one meeting, but we have email, we have a lot of different areas. We often only communicate the negative or
Oh,
when there's a problem. I need
oh,
more
yes.
volunteers. I can't, I don't, there's things going wrong. So we're the squeaky wheel. They want to hear what's going well. And Ben talked about this a little bit. They want to share, they want to know your wins. They want to share your
Yes.
wins from the platform.
Yes.
Often we don't. I have been guilty of this in the past, of only being the squeaky wheel when things aren't going right, but share when things are going well. We
Yes.
had 3 new volunteers sign up. We had 4 kid salvations, whatever it is, and do that weekly. If you want to build community with your your pastor, whatever your staff. You might not have a voice at the table, but you have email, you have a hallway conversation. So share those wins. That is my first one. And second is it's we, not me. We, not me. So when you walk into those conversations, it's not I need or I have or I want, but it's, hey, we are really looking to do this, and this is how I see this helping the larger church. So it's not like talk about those silos. Uh, Break down that silo just by using your language. So it's not what I need or what we need in children's ministry, but hey, if you talked about volunteerism from the stage, not only is that going to help volunteers here, but what if we use this to get volunteers for the coffee ministry or the youth ministry too? So then you're a team player. Like
I see what you did there. You changed the words. I see. We could go yes. I think
that's good stuff.
Is Twitter is still a thing? I don't know.
A senior pastor wants to know that he has a team of people all going in the same direction.
Yes.
And senior pastors have a lot on their plate and they have to think about a lot of things. Now, if you're at a larger church, you might have an executive pastor under you, you might have HR, you might have that person with the people skills. But if you're at a small church, you have to handle it all. And so it might not be that the pastor isn't interested in what I have to say.
Yeah.
He's just not thinking about it or has time to think about it. So I am bringing it to him. And that's okay. That's what I have found has really helped me have a voice at the table. Because often we don't. Whether you're at a small church or large church, you don't have a voice. But there's ways. You don't have to be present. Proximity matters.
Yes.
And the quicker you can get yourself out of a room teaching gives you so much more proximity to the families that are walking through the hallway, that are coming through that door.
Absolutely.
And getting to know them. So it is something like you don't feel like you can do that. And I hear people all the time, I can't because I'm the only teacher they got or whatever. And I get that. And that's why I highly recommend spending some of that weekday stuff, getting to know somebody on a personal level.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't go in saying, I'm going to go recruit right now. Go in saying, I'm going to get to know this family.
Yep.
And I love it. We, not me.
Yep.
Hashtag trending.
I tell you, and Vicki, I agree with you talking, getting, I'm going to take what Ben was talking about, raise up that army of influencers. I'm gonna say it in a little different way of get those people who have your pastor's ear and throw stories of what God's doing in the children's ministry, because those people are going to go and talk to your pastor about that stuff. So I've used that technique myself too. So I'm glad both of you.
Tell my boss all about it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it like that obvious, but I shared with that. But again, pastors are spinning lots of plates. That's the illustration I use a lot of times. And sometimes as kids ministry leaders, we need to look at how we can take one of those sticks with the plate on it away from your pastor. And if we're doing our ministry with excellence, we're managing our teams well, and we're leading, that really does pull a couple of those sticks with plates spinning away from them so they don't have to worry about it. But really the best way of community is giving your pastor, I agree. Sometimes we don't get his ear all the time. So I would send my pastor a weekly email. Here's what happened in kids ministry this weekend.
Yep.
And so some of it was all bullet pointed. And then there was usually one very, very brief story, because I wanted to give him something he could use from the pulpit. I wanted him to be able to use something with the board meetings. I wanted him to have numbers, because a lot of them like to see that kind of stuff. And then there are times where to build community with him, is I'd say, hey, pastor, I've got this struggle, and here's the situation. Here's 3 solutions I've been thinking of. Mm-hmm. What do you think would be the best solution? Because then you're showing, hey, pastor, I'm honoring you as a leader, your wisdom, your understanding. This could impact you, and I want to know your input on this. And I had a pastor who was very distant from me. And when I started doing that weekly email, and then when I would come to him every once in a while with the solution, question with the solutions, and let him choose the best solution for me, and then run with it. And then, in the team meetings, being that team player to say, hey, by the way, we have this stuff in our kids ministry. We bought this. Like one time the youth pastor was in the team and he's like, well, I need to rent a cotton candy machine and a snow cone machine and all that. And I went, dude, we already got that. You can use it. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we got all that stuff, and then the pastor needed a prop for a sermon, or he came to the team and was like, I'm trying to illustrate this. I thought I'd ask you guys, what do you guys think? And I'm like, how about this illustration? And I brought a whole prop out and he used it. And he even gave me the shout out on the stage. So I think as kids pastors, it's not the why don't we get their ear and why don't we have community? It's, well, what can I do? Because you're right. It takes us laying down the negative mindset and the poor, pitiful me and going, well, what if, Ben's favorite words, what if, and why not, and why can't we go this direction and bring those things in? So, man, I've got hashtag we are not just kidmin. We not me. Hashtag.
I like we not me. That's a good one.
Yeah. Hashtag we not me.
Something.
Hashtag bring an army and hashtag proximity matters. All right. So I just think we've got some good stuff to build on. And I think that would help any leader listening to go, all right, if I'm not feeling connected with the rest of the staff team or with my pastor, if it's just me and the pastor, what can I do? I think we've given them some good things for that kind of stuff. I really do.
Tom, you kind of like you set yourself up for this a little bit.
Oh boy.
Because in every episode, what are we on, 8 now?
Yep.
In every episode, you've created this like process for our listeners. You've created this 4-point, 7-point, all rhyming or all starting with the same letter, because that's the preacher in you. But like, okay, let's see. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh man.
Three things.
We should put Vicki on the spot on this. She's in the hot seat.
She's in the game too. This is a game.
All right, good. We're going to team this one, Vicki. We're teaming this one. Here we go.
3 things that you can do right now in the month of November, because this is going to be airing the very last week of October.
Yep.
You got a whole month ahead of you. You got 2 months left in the year. What 3 things can we do as a children's director, as a volunteer, or as someone who actually is a paid staff, or whatever you got to do? 3 things you can do in the month of November to build community with your volunteers or your church staff, or both. Like, let's see how fun preachery you can get in this. Someone is already writing down. I'm scared.
Well, no, I'm trying to. I was making notes of what you were asking me to do, or asking us to do on this challenge here. So,
3 things. Okay, 3 things that you could do with staff and or volunteers. See, that
to build community.
That's where it could be tricky. I feel like the first one, what would we say about proximity? Because I think that lands in both. Like, you need proximity to your volunteers during the weekend, which means you're trying to take yourself out of teaching, if that is still your role. If somebody can do it as 40% as good as you, 50% as good as you, give that away and make yourself present. But I think that's also
2 P's
with your staff as well, right? Just being more present.
Yep.
Proximity matters.
All right. Proximity matters because we need to be present with our people. And how do we do that? We have a pizza party. We get our team together and we have pizza.
Oh, that was really grabbing it there, Tom.
We didn't even talk about that because but
prayer
I have food down as a way to build relationships and community, whether it's volunteers, parents, staff. And if you're at a small church, if you don't have a budget, bring in those cookies, make the banana bread.
There we go.
Stop and get day old donuts. Or if you're in a town, pro tip, go get day old bagels. Sometimes they're half off.
There
They
you
don't
go.
know. They don't
There you
know.
go. Yeah.
So
Oh, hey, you can go to Jimmy John's and get their sub rolls that are like cheap and do
50 cents. 50
there you
cents.
go.
Day old
I
bread.
only eat Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sorry.
But
Proximity with your parent,
proximity.
pastor, and
Yep.
I'm digging this.
So proximity with your pastor could be inviting him or some other staff members out for coffee. Being present, texting your team and letting them know that you're praying.
All right.
Yeah.
Praying for them, because people matter, and you can't have proximity without people. You can't be present without people, and you can't pray without other people. Well, you can, but it's better when 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, right? So there we go. I think we knocked that out of the park, Ben. I mean, come on.
She did good, and I think
she killed
you're
it.
just jumping on her bandwagon.
I am. I'm totally. All I could come up with was pizza.
But and somebody challenge real quick before you do that. I had a challenge from a pastor one time, and this is why I play this game, is because I like to dream a little bit. I like to see what if. But the challenge was this: what family can you take on getting to know this month?
Yeah.
And in fact, it was like in 6 weeks, he said, I want everyone to build a friendship with a new family that you've never met before. And ultimately in 6 weeks, that relationship turned into a amazing volunteer team, husband and wife. And the kids were all in because they were there. They saw their mom and dad serving. And so I loved that. That was a great challenge for me. I had to, before you threw all your fun in there, I had to I agree completely with Vicki. Definitely proximity and building that relationship is huge.
I have another P.
Oh, bring it.
Sort of. The power of one, right?
Ooh.
So we often think that we have these big lofty goals, but think the power of one, whether it's one a week, one a month. Like if you got to know one family every week, that's 4 families.
Yep.
Even if you do that 10 months out of the year, that's 40 families.
There you go.
So that transitions into volunteers.
Yes.
What would it look like if you just focus on one volunteer a week?
Yeah. Because I wanted to bring it back to our, the original question is, well, what about my volunteers? All of that works with our volunteers. Proximity, presence, prayer, getting to know one, if you've got a big team or if you got a small team, it doesn't matter. And, proximity could be, one of the best things I ever did, you guys, was so simple. Took absolutely zero planning. Was, hey, guess what, guys? I'm having a fire pit Friday. I'm going to have the fire going. I'm going to have some s'more stuff. I'll have some hot dogs if you want to bring a chair, bring your own beverage, and just come and hang out around my fire pit. And if you don't have a chair, that's all right. I got other chairs. And we got blankets, and we're just going to put on a big old fire, and we're going to go from 6 to 9 Friday night, and you know what? I did that for, I think, 3 out of 4 Fridays because we got rained out once. And the first Friday I had 2 people show up, and I thought, oh, well, I guess that bombed. But I said, hey, I'm going to do it again. So I did it again, and I let everybody know. Well, those 2 showed up again, but this time I had 6 more people show up. And the second time, the third time that we did it, we got rained out in between. And then that last Friday of the month, because I said, I'm going to do it for the whole month. And I think I did it in October. And I knew there were football games and different things going on. I got it, but it didn't matter. I just told people 6 to 8, come hang out. This is what we're doing. No agenda. No, we're not doing training. It's just hanging out, proximity. It was just being with people. It was being present in their world and getting to know them. And the last time we did it, we had 15 people show up around. Now, my team wasn't that big. So that was almost half my team for a Sunday morning. And for one service, I should say, because I had about 30 volunteers in each service. But still, they had never done anything like that before. And to get 30 people to show up on a Friday night and just come hang out by the fire, and people showed up at 6 and stayed all the way till 8 or 9. I mean, we blew past the time and nobody cared, and I didn't care. I just kept throwing more logs on the fire. And I'm telling you, something simple like that, or gathering for pizza, or whatever.
Well, and Tom, we have an active audience every weekend with our volunteers.
Yes.
So are we making time for them to have those opportunities to build relationship, to have community?
Ooh.
Or are they just coming in, serving, checking a box and leaving? And so what one thing could people do the month of November to help build community while they're even there?
There we go.
On a Sunday morning, or if you have services on a Saturday night, what could you do? What one thing could you ask them to come in 10 minutes early for coffee? Or if you don't have, a lot of churches have huddles or VIP time. But if you don't, just saying, hey, I'm going to be at our welcome area at 8 o'clock or 10:30. Anyone who wants to come for prayer, I'm going to be there. We've done this. And the first week you might have 1 or 2. Second week you might have 0. Keep doing it. It's that amp power. Keep doing it and it will build. All of a sudden you have 9 people and somebody walks in and they're like, what are you guys doing? Oh, this is that prayer. Vicki said, come early for that prayer thing. So what one thing could you do in November just to help with community while you have them there?
All right.
And we would love to hear your ideas.
Yes. Like that's the challenge.
I did something like one time, it was create a toast bar, because people was like, I don't have time for breakfast. Well, let's create breakfast. We have breakfast together.
Bar.
And I know there's so many ideas out there. That's why the Kid Ministry Collective Facebook group exists. That's why Kids Ministry Plus exists, or KidMin Plus.
KidMin Plus. There you
go. Our community is, as Vicki said, we, not me, and we are stronger together. So
that's right.
Join it, be a part of it, tell your friends about it, and let's just talk. Let's create that conversation.
That's right.
Spread ideas, because I want to know how you build community at your church, volunteers or pastor. Let's go.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. So that's going to be the challenge this month. We want to hear from you in the Facebook group, and we're going to probably bring it up at our next live roundtable in the kidminplus.net community. So if you're not a part of that, come join. Like Ben said, we would love to have you be a part of that, because we are better together, and we need community as leaders. We need to connect with each other, and you could belong to 600 Facebook groups and still not be connected to anybody. And to have a tribe, well, that's what the KidMin Plus and really what the Kid Ministry Collective is all about. That's why we started it years ago. Well, Vicki, I'm glad to have you a part of our panel. And by the way, folks, newsflash, she's going to be back. Even when Cole's here, we're going to have her back, part of the collective, because we're better together with her, right?
We are.
I mean,
it's we, not me. Now
that's right.
Might
not
be able to get rid of me.
She
look out, Cole. When he comes back, he's going to be like, what happened? I'm gone for one episode.
One episode, and look.
What you guys have done.
Smartest person on the panel right there. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Vicki, thanks. Ben, thanks. This has been a fun conversation, and I really can't wait to the next episode where we're going to dive into some more. So if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the podcast. If you want to watch us on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because, hey, it just helps us get more into the algorithm, so that the algorithm can push it to more leaders so that we can connect with more people. And that's our heartbeat. So my friends, thanks for listening. If there's anything we can do for you, reach out. If you're looking for a coach, check us out at kmccoach.net. You can set up a clarity call. Some of you have done that recently, and we're honored that we get a chance to serve you. So thanks for doing that. All right, my friends, that's going to wrap up this week's episode. I'm Tom.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Vicki, not Cole.
Yes.
We're
See
out.
ya.
Hey, friend, that wraps up the KMC Collective podcast for this week. Thanks so much for listening. If today's episode sparked something, an idea, a heartbeat, or a fresh start, drop us a line at tom@tombump.com or reach out on social media. We'd love to hear your story and keep the conversation going. Remember, you're not just doing kids ministry, you're shaping the next generation's faith with intention and care. Be encouraged, be creative, and take a breath. You've got this. Catch you next time on the KMC Collective Podcast.